The internet is a vast, interconnected web of logic and light, but in its deepest corners, the shadows take a different shape. We like to believe that every mystery has a solution, that every glitch in the reality we know can be explained away by science or coincidence. But tonight, we're stepping off the paved path as I have scoured the archives of Reddit to find the stories that defy logic, the accounts from ordinary people who looked into the dark and saw something looking back. These aren't just stories, they are the digital echoes of the unexplained. So dim the lights, stay close, and join me as we head into the Cellar. I only had one that was truly beyond for me. I was 19 at the time. A buddy of mine was on leave in the US Marine Corps visiting. Going to sleep, I let him sleep in my bed and I took the couch. The couch was one of those L-shaped sectionals. The short part of the L was at my feet and there was an ottoman in front of the couch in that little area. I had one of those weird sleeps where I woke up before opening my eyes. When I did open them, I saw a creature standing right next to the ottoman, like within arm's length. There was a light on in the hallway, so it was like a silhouette from the light behind it, but not enough light from the streetlight to make it super clear from the window behind me. It was about 3 to 4 feet tall. All I can remember from its features is it had super greasy hair covering most of its face. I saw it as soon as I opened my eyes, and I just closed my eyes back shut and turned around to face the back of the couch/window. I didn't know how to describe it, but it was like the moment I saw it, my entire body was filled with terror. As soon as I turned around, I heard like a loud whisper in my ear/thought, "I saw you see me. Don't act like you didn't." Even more terrified, I just stayed silent, didn't move, and basically was praying until I eventually fell back asleep. At some point, I heard my buddy wake up and use the bathroom and lay back down. Now, I probably would have forgotten about it, except the next morning when eating breakfast, my friend mentioned how he woke up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom and felt like the house was haunted. Gave me the heebie-jeebies. I've had sleep paralysis, lucid dreams, false awakened dreams, and this wasn't like any of those. The only truly supernatural thing I ever saw that I couldn't explain away. 12 years ago, on a road trip back from a Blink-182 concert in LA, we were driving east through Arizona, headed back to Ohio on a 33-hour road trip because the other guy just loved Blink so much that somehow we had to do this massively long trip for just one concert. But that's neither here nor there. The real point was spending time with these two girls, LOL. I was driving at the point this happened, middle of nowhere, middle of the night. We come to a stop behind a bunch of cars waiting on some construction. The four of us were talking for a bit as we sat there, 2 girls, 2 guys, and I distinctly remember rotating yellow lights on the construction vehicles and lots of red lights from all the rear car lights. A few songs played while we were joking, laughing, one girl was smoking. Eventually, we were like, haven't we been here fucking forever? And we started looking around. It's construction, who knows what the delay is? So we wait. Gets on to 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Eventually I'm like, are the construction cats even moving? I get out of the car. There are orange cones lined up everywhere. I'm picking my way through. I shit you not, there's nobody in the construction vehicles. They're just sitting there. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? This traffic jam is pointless. We need to just go around. And I look at the other cars to try to tell the drivers, and I shit you not, there was nobody in the cars either. We'd just been sitting at a traffic jam in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the night, behind a bunch of cars and construction vehicles that were on, but nobody was in them. I jumped back in the car, and we took off like a bat out of hell. But to this day, I have no fucking clue what that was about. Not a hallucination. I wasn't asleep. All 4 of us saw this. Looking in other cars and seeing nobody in any of them, I didn't stop to see if there were tracks in the sand or anything. Just fuck that. What I believe to have been a case of falling asleep behind the wheel could also have been a serious case of confusion led on by sleep deprivation. I was living in Hawaii, but in Minnesota, visiting my family for a bit. A friend of mine named Chaz and I decided to go out and engage in some chicanery, similar to the high school pranking we did our senior year. Long story short, we get back to my house at 5 a.m. for a 2-hour nap. We decided to buy 4 packs of cigarettes, 4 Rockstar punched energy drinks, and take a 2-hour road trip to the Mall of America. We get there, ride a few roller coasters, eat at a crazy restaurant, and endure a scavenger hunt created by a group at the mall for the day. We leave and decide to drive around Minneapolis and all over a few of the suburbs. We soon start to head back to the town we are from when we get a call from our friend, who is a blackjack dealer at one of the nearby casinos. He says he's off early and wants to come hang out. We tell him we are 45 minutes out, but we'll be there as quickly as we can. So we drive over there to get him, we get off the freeway and take the back roads. There's not a single car out there. It is pitch black. Then, out of nowhere, there is a speeding pair of headlights coming towards us in our lane. Blaring the horn in an attempt to warn the vehicle it is in the wrong lane, the headlights then disappear. Suddenly, they are 30 feet in front of us and there are semi-horns blaring in unison. I shut my eyes, thinking it is the end of my life. My eyes open, and we are sitting in the casino parking lot. My friend Dave is walking out to the car, excited as always to see us. Chaz and I haven't really comprehended what has happened. While we were both very conscious and saw the lights and heard the sounds, what we didn't understand was the passage of time that occurred in the blink of an eye. Almost a half hour of my life is gone, and I cannot explain how or why. Now, this next story is one of my own that I wanted to share. This story took place around 2015-2016. I was in my late 20s, and at the time, I was managing a convenience store. For context, when I finished high school, there weren't a lot of job opportunities near where I was living, and I had no mode of transportation. I lived in a small town about 25 minutes outside of Albany, New York, and the closest place I could walk to was a Cumberland Farms convenience store. I graduated in 2005, and following a summer of drinking and fun with my friends, I knew I had to get a job. So I walked to Cumberland Farms one day, applied, and began working there part-time. Fast forward a decade, and I had worked my way up into a management role. At the time of the story, I was traveling 30 to 40 minutes one way to get to the new store I had been assigned. It was a quiet drive, as I was always up extremely early at around 5 a.m. or so. Now, at this point, I had made this drive a few hundred times at least. It was pretty straightforward, a lot of long stretches of fields and houses, with the occasional town I would pass through before turning down another long, quiet stretch of road. Well, on this particular morning, I was tired, but I wouldn't say I was any more tired than I was every other day. Working as a store manager can be pretty brutal at times. You're on call 24/7, you get up really early, you work a minimum of 5-10-hour days, typically more, and when employees don't show up or call out, the responsibility falls on you to stay and work later. To put it simply, I was always tired, but I had never had anything like this happen to me before, and I've never had anything like this happen to me again. So I began my drive that morning. I took the first turn at an intersection and started the first 10 or so minute stretch of road. Now, at the end of this road, it comes to a T intersection, and typically I turn right, and it eventually brings me into this small town where the speed limit slows, and there's a gas station and some other small local businesses. Now, the only thing I remember is coming up to this T in the road. I don't remember turning, I don't remember driving through the town, I just remember time feeling like it came to a stop. The next thing I remember, I'm driving down a long dark stretch of road, and it occurs to me that I don't know where I am. This freaked me out quite a bit, so I pulled over and started messing with the GPS that was built into my car. I finally got the coordinates in and realized where I was, and I wasn't too far off my route. In fact, I had only just missed one of my turns by about a mile. So I turned around and got back on course. As I finished the rest of my drive, I realized there was a 30-minute gap in time that I just didn't remember. Not only was there a 30-minute gap in time, but I had somehow traveled through a 15-minute segment of my trip and had no recollection of it. I don't remember turning at the T intersection. I don't remember going through the small town. I don't remember turning left after that gas station. I don't remember the next long stretch of road. I just don't remember any of it. I ended up making it to work a little late that morning, and I've talked to plenty of people about it before, and most just tell me I got lucky driving in my sleep like that. Now, I will share this one last bit. About a year later, I went through a really shitty divorce, and that divorce took its toll on me, and to say I was even more tired would have been an understatement. Now, I did have a weird moment occur one night when I came home from the store. I remember pulling into my driveway and coming to a stop in front of my detached garage. I remember looking down at my cell phone and responding to someone's text, and the next thing I know, it went from around 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. I remember looking at the time and realizing I had been sitting in my car for 3 hours. The car was still running, and I hadn't even put the thing in park. My foot was still sitting on the brake, keeping it in place. Now, that moment I chalked up to pure exhaustion. Following these weird moments, I was able to get my life back into a healthy place. I met someone, started a family, quit that job as a store manager, and I've been a lot happier, and I've never had a moment like either of these happen again. Although I still think back to that moment and wonder what the hell happened during the 30 minutes of time I lost. Now, I figured we'd end today's bizarre stories by diving into one with a positive message and ending all around. A few years ago, I was at my lowest point in life. Several people close to me had passed away unexpectedly. I was being bullied every day at my job. My life was falling apart. I was past being depressed. I just couldn't imagine waking up another day. So I had planned my end. I bought a one-way plane ticket, got sleeping pills, and wrote a series of goodbye notes. On the day I was to fly out to fulfill my plan, there was a terrible accident on the freeway to the airport. It was shut down both ways, so I drove into a nearby pub to have a beer and wait out the traffic. The second I sat on the patio with my drink, a gentleman asked if he could sit with me. Whatever, I thought, sure, who cares? He told me that whatever I was doing next was a terrible idea and I would regret it. I thought, who is this random fucker? But I listened. He said that he sensed I was in pain, and that I had an incredible life ahead of me, and that this was not the way my story was supposed to end. Again, I'd never met this guy in my life, and hadn't mentioned a word to him about my plan. He then asked me to hand him my keys and my wallet, and he'd give them back to me after I talked and he listened. I poured my heart out to this random guy, told him all my traumas and pains in life, and why I was heading to the airport on a one-way ticket to end things in a cemetery across the country where my family was buried. He just listened, and then he pulled out a lighter, asked me to pull out my goodbye letters, and helped me burn them. He told me I was worth so much to the world, and that after I finished my drink, I needed to head home and get some sleep. He told me I was going to be okay tomorrow, and I believed him. He then gave me my keys and wallet back. I left that afternoon and went home, hugged my family, got some sleep, and the next day, I started working on myself, finding a therapist, a new job. Years later, I'm in a fantastic place in life, so far from where I was that day. To this day, no one in my life knows how close I came to ending things, but this random stranger just somehow understood me and saved my life. I never saw him again. I don't even know his name. It's the most unexplained thing that has ever happened to me, and I think about the guy every day. So, thank you, kind stranger, for saving my life that random September day on a pub patio. Thank you all for watching. This is not an AI channel. I do all the work here myself, and I would love if you subscribed, hit the like button, and left a comment down below. If you'd like to help support what I do further, then consider becoming a channel member. For only a few bucks a month, you get some cool perks, including having your name listed here in the end credits of each of my videos. With all that said, please consider watching another one of my many videos, and I will see you all next time when we head back into the cellar.